Are we buying the sports card dip or just continuing to wait? Let's talk about it. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. It's another day. It is another sports card video. I hope that you all are doing amazingly well. If you're new here and you're looking for consistent sports card collectibles content with a little bit of finance stuff mixed in, some of the news stuff in the hobby, you have come to the right place. I will do my best to entertain you. Are you not entertained?
Nah, bitch.
Also, don't forget to connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad, and I'm also on Twitter, the SportsCardDad. Big thanks to channel partner ComC.com. It's your home for buying, selling, and flipping all the hottest trading cards. Over 29 million cards across all sports genres and our eras sit on their marketplace. With a ComC.com account, you can purchase cards from different sellers over time and ship them home together later or immediately reprice them for sale on the ComC marketplace. ComC, the original, I like to call them the OG Vault. Check them out today. All right, guys, I was scrolling IG and came across a great post, which made me kind of just get the wheels turning. I started thinking, and it also made me think of a purchase that I had recently. It was from 5 Card Guys, and it was talking about the 2000 Bowman Chrome Tom Brady rookie card in a PSA 10. And this is kind of one of those, it's somewhat of a commodity card in the sense that it's widely available as far as, you know, the scarcity / rarity. There are a lot of graded copies. And this is a card kind of during the peak March, April 2021 reached $28,000 and now is down in kind of that $12,000 range. And so the question that 5 Card Guys asking is, are we buying the dip? You know, are we waiting? What are we doing? And it's a very interesting question. Obviously, we're all trying to figure this out for ourselves. These are the type of cards where you have some comfort in them because they're easy to sell. With collectibles, it can't be overstated that these things are not easy to sell, especially when you get into really rare or scarce stuff. This is kind of that fine line, that balancing act that we're always doing, because you can get a really rare card of some particular player, but if it's not hobby relevant, if people aren't into it, etc., whatever the case may be, you just might never be able to sell it. And if you're ever in an instance where you do have to liquidate for some reason, now it could be you need to liquidate to pay the bills, mortgage, health bills, whatever it is, or it might be that you're trying to level up your collection. You're like, or you know what, you got into something and you're like, I'm not really into this as much anymore. I want to move into this thing, but man, I've got to get rid of some of this because I don't have a bunch of extra cash laying around. And so if you have a bunch of really rare stuff, unless you've got kind of a network of people that are also buying into that rare stuff that you can move it over to, you might be stuck with that stuff. So I think it's important to not just throw aside kind of the commodity type cards. This Bowman Chrome or the paper Bowman Tom Brady rookie card would fall in this bucket where it's not the auto contenders numbered out of 100. It doesn't have all the extra scarcity to it. But of course, you get that massive premium with that scarcity. The card that I recently bought at the National that falls kind of in this same bucket of cards is the 2018 Luka Doncic Silver Prism PSA 10. Now, is Luka the GOAT like Tom Brady? No, he's not. He's just a kind of a hot prospect. He's a guy that's young guy. It's exciting. He's playing great basketball. Hasn't won anything yet, really, but an exciting guy in the league. Might never be more than that. So I'm not comparing it apples to apples to the Tom Brady Bowman Chrome rookie card. What I am saying, though, is this falls, as far as the hobby is concerned, it falls into that kind of commodity card bucket of importance to where, it's a very liquid card. I can move the card very easily based on today's market. Now, if I had colored versions of this, if I had the green Prism, for example, or even the blue Prism, which is a popular card, it's fairly liquid. At the price points, there's not lots of buyers in the 5-figure price points. So, just depending on what it is. But I think the green Prism is a great example because it's not a color match. It's just a colored version. It is more of a rare card than the base Prism, etc. So, it's got some rarity to it. Is it an easy card to move? Not really, unless you really kind of have a nice price point for it. So again, this is kind of the balancing act. And I think the one thing that we need to consider too is we went through, 2020, 2021. Yeah, you had a lot of money pouring in, whether it be stimulus or, whale money, if you will, that came in. But the other part though is there was just extreme interest because, no sports. They cut off the NBA for a while, shut that down. Everybody's at home, so there was just a lot of people getting back in, and the demand was just high in general. Now, today, the demand is still high. If you go to card shows and different things, there is a lot of interest in this hobby / market / space. That hasn't waned. There's still a lot of interest. The one thing that I want to look at too is pop counts. So when you look at the PSA 10 for Tom Brady Bowman Chrome PSA 10, if we go back to April of 2021, and we're looking at, okay, what was the population for that card back then when it was selling for $28,000? Well, it was sitting at 1,069 copies. All right, so how does that compare to today? All right, so today, well, as of August 13th, there was 1,120 copies. So we're talking about 60 more copies in a span of about, 15, 16 months? And then also keep in mind that PSA has graded millions of cards in that time. So, if there was going to be a big boost on the pop report, it would have happened. It would have happened over the last 18 months, 15 months, actually. That's really when they've graded more cards in the last 15 months than they have in their history in one period of time. And so I think that has to be taken into account, when you're looking at that high grade, that 10 grade. And then maybe if you're looking to, obviously not everyone has 5 figures to spend on a card, then you have to look at the PSA 9, and then maybe even the 8, depending on, factors, how many 8s are out there, how many 9s are out there compared to the price point. But, it's like if you believe in the player, you believe that this is kind of going to be the rookie card or kind of the kind of main staple, foundational, flagship, rookie card for a particular player. I think all those things have to be taken into account, even if it's not necessarily the most scarce card for that particular player. And the same goes for the Luka Silver Prism PSA 10. The population for this card currently sits at 2,143. If we look back, and I was trying to pull this up on Card Ladder, struggling to find it, but I know I looked it up a week or so ago, and it was only a couple hundred more, maybe 150 more copies than what we had in April of 2021, really kind of during that boom. And so, it just begs the question, how many of these over time, because they're going to continue to grade these will trickle in over time, but will there ever be 10,000 PSA 10 Luka Silvers? I don't think so. Maybe 3,000 if it's sitting at 2,100 now. If we're looking 10 years, 20 years down the road, of course, a lot of it's going to depend on how much of that 2018 Prism is still left out there, boxes to be ripped, how many of them are still available in those boxes, and then how many of them are going to get a PSA 10. These are all things that we're thinking about, obviously, when we're making plays, if you will. For me, this was just kind of this is a guy that I root for, the team that I root for. He's kind of my guy that I'm rooting for in the NBA now. And I wanted to have just kind of a nice rookie card for him. I'd love to have kind of that navy blue, numbered out of 199, but it's 10, 11, $12,000 in a PSA 9, I think is where it sits. Love to have one, but we're just not quite there yet. And again, I would like to see more out of Luka before I spend $10,000 on a Luka card. I could spend $10,000 on a variety of different things now that I feel better about than a Luka card, as far as just the player is concerned. And so for this card, as I had mentioned in my other videos, I got it for $1,750 at the National. At the peak, this card was an $8,000 card, which a lot of people would say like, oh man, that's crazy. That's a crazy price. So I was kind of balancing out, where were the all-time highs? Where is it now? Could it go down more? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, here's the reality. If this goes down, if this is a $1,000 card in the future, I will buy more of these at $1,000. And I think I've heard this actually talked on the higher end. I was on Twitter. There was a collector out there that was we're going back and forth about the Jordan rookie card in a PSA 10, the 86 Fleer. And he was basically like, hey, if this ever hits $100,000, I'm a buyer. I'll buy multiples. And I think that's what we have to look at is where is that threshold? Where does the support come at different price points? And I'm pretty sure even with just some of my hobby friends, if this was a $1,000 card, they would take a flyer on it, assuming he's kind of on the same trajectory, et cetera. So I felt good. I think the one thing that I'm looking at is, do I feel good about that price, even if it just holds its value over an extended period of time? So for $17.50, I was okay with that price point for this particular card. Do I think that it has room to go up? I do. I do think that it has room to go up. And actually, recent comps are at $2,100, $2,200 for this card. So I kind of got it under eBay comp. So I'll take it. But I also think that it does have upside. Will it get to $8,000 again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Do I need it to get to $8,000 again for it to me feel like it was a great buy? No, I don't. I love the card. I love the look of the card, the aesthetics of the card. It's the step back three. It's his move. So there's more to it than that. I'm always just trying to figure out, is this going to hold value over time? Is it something where if I needed to move it tomorrow for some emergency expense, could I do that? Got to factor that in as well. And then if it dropped more, if it went down to 1,000, like I mentioned, would I buy more of them? If the answer is yes, then to me, that's a card that's worth getting into. So as far as buying the dip or waiting, I think it's going to be case by case with a lot of cards, but I am looking at kind of these more common cards of important players, whether it be Tom Brady or Jordan or, whoever these important players are. And it might actually be prospects for you. It might be a prospect where you're like, I felt really good about this player, but the prices were way stupidly high over the last couple of years. But now I feel really good. Prices have kind of corrected and I still like this player. I still think they're young, whoever this is. And I think that there's upward trajectory there. I think there could be. These are all kind of fun things that we're all doing on a daily basis. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you buying the sports card dip for the cards that fall into this? I know there's still record-breaking prices and whatever, but I'm talking about the stuff that got really hot and now has come down to earth a little bit. Are you buying in? Are you waiting? Or are you maybe looking at, maybe it's not PSA 10, but I'll get into a 9. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and don't forget to check out comc.com. Talk to you later.